Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fake Nerds Discussions. I'm your host, Brian, and it's been no secret over the last few years that Ubisoft has had issues, whether it's other companies trying to hostily take them over, which happened a few years ago, but it does seem that that's kind of off the table. But now, lately, they've really been struggling to get the kind of sales that they were used to. They had a great thing going at one point in time, of course, where they were able to kind of control this specific brand of game that you saw in like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed and other titles that they made, Ghost Recon. And they were very solid and making money hand over fist. And then things started to change. Other companies began to really up their game when it came to the type of RPGs that were available, and Ubisoft failed to continue to do that. So now they're at a point where they had probably like one of their biggest disasters in Star Wars Outlaws, not selling very well. And then there's Assassin's Creed Shadows, which on paper should work, right? Assassin's Creed set in Japan, slam dunk, something that fans have been asking for literal years. And unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like it's that good, right? There's obviously some controversy around it, but I think the bigger thing is that they just haven't made a great game. And now they keep delaying it. And it's like, is this game ever going to come out? Or is this just going to be a failure no matter what? It's far too late to really make it any better than it's going to be. So there's been rumors that Ubisoft has been contacting outside companies to potentially sell off some of their brands, much to the chagrin, obviously, of the Ubisoft shareholders. So this is from IGN, and it says Ubisoft shareholder plots protest outside Paris HQ, accuses company of failing to reveal discussions with Microsoft, EA, and other alleged interests in acquiring IPs. So this is by Vicky Blake. She writes, a minority shareholder in Ubisoft is attempting to organize a protest outside of the company's Paris headquarters, accusing it of failing to disclose alleged discussions with Microsoft, EA, and other publishers reportedly interested in acquiring its franchises. In a statement seen by IGN, Jiraj Kupa, CEO of AJ Investments, claimed Ubisoft is, quote, horribly mismanaged by current management, close quote, and wants a, quote, clear roadmap for recovery, close quote, from the senior team to address the, quote, declining shareholder value, lackluster operational execution, and failure to adapt effectively to market trends, close quote. Krupa also alleges that Ubisoft has not been transparent about its decision making, accusing the firm of hiding information, including an Assassin's Creed Mirage DLC partnership with the Saudi investment firm Savvy Group. The shareholder pointed to a restricted article published by business investments platform Merger Markets that alleges discussions between Microsoft, EA, and other interested in acquiring IPs from Ubisoft. Management did not inform public about these steps either, Gruber claimed. Ubisoft issued the following statement to IGN, quote, as mentioned during our Q3 sales, the review of various transformational strategic capitalistic options is ongoing. The board has established an ad hoc independent committee to oversee this formal and competitive process so as to extract the best value from Ubisoft's assets and franchises for all stakeholders. Ubisoft will inform the market in accordance with its applicable regulations if and once a transaction materializes, close quote. So as continued, back in October, Bloomberg reported that Ubisoft, founding Guillemot family and shareholder Tencent, were discussions to take the company private following a number of high-profile flops, game cancellations, and collapses of the company's share price. At the time, the talks were merely exploratory, and Ubisoft told IGN it would, quote, inform the market if and when appropriate. For several years now, Ubisoft has seemed to be in a strange slowdown spiral in a number of high-profile flops, layoffs, studio closures, game cancellations, and delay after delay. Meanwhile, rumors continue to spin about what exact proposals and board is considering, with some media outlets floating the idea that Tencent is increasingly reluctant to embrace Ubisoft due to the Guillemot's family insistence on retaining a significant amount of control. Sans 10 cents. There are few companies big enough and rich enough to spend the cash needed to save the albatross Ubisoft has grown into. So, obviously, if you're an investor in Ubisoft, you probably believed in the vision, in the Guillemot family, right? And it would probably be a big surprise and, quite frankly, an unpleasant surprise to hear that they're not only, you know, looking to move on in some way, but they're doing it kind of like an underhanded way that's not really beneficial to their shareholders. So that's why there's this protest. That's from the shareholders' perspective. From Ubisoft's perspective, I do wonder if it would be better for them to sell off some of these franchises that one they're not doing stuff with, Splinter Cell, be one, or like they just don't have the resources or willingness to kind of build off of. Um, I think, they were like once so up there that they've really lost their way. And I think with the failure of Outlaws and the probable failure of the new Assassin's Creed uh, game, the Guillemons are going to have to make like a real choice here. Are they going to kind of start over and try to reinvent themselves, step away from the kind of recurring revenue that they had with these releases of games, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed in quick succession? Or are they going to, grit and bear it and just like continue on this way and run it till the wheels come off? Or are they going to sell everything to a company like Tencent and let them kind of figure out if there's anything left that these franchises can offer? I personally think the best thing for the long-term success of Ubisoft would be for them to take a break from releasing stuff and attempt to kind of rebuild from the ground up. However, I say that knowing that that simply is not what any business really does. Businesses never want to take time off. They never want to stop the inflow of cash. It's always like, we've made this much this quarter. We need to make more this quarter. If we don't make that much, then we've shrunk. Even if we made more than the previous, but we projected more and we didn't meet that projection, we've shrunk. We need to lay off. So I think, honestly, the most likely outcome, and it's kind of sad, is that they are either going to go out of business, or be forced to sell to a company like Tencent, perhaps by their investors. So we'll see what happens there. But I thought this was very interesting for a company that was once a titan of the industry. Certainly a company that most of us probably never would have imagined going away is really in such a bad place now that it's feels more likely that a dramatic shakeup is going to happen than not. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you agree that Ubisoft is most likely on the way out? Are you saddened by that? Do you care at all? I mean, that's another thing. Like, these titles were so popular at one time, but I feel like they've really rubbed people the wrong way just by being overdone. And maybe people are like, well, let EA, let Microsoft, let Tencent buy them and give them to another developer to see if there's any more meat on the bone for Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon, any of those. So really interesting situation. For me personally, very sad that this seems to really confirm like they're never making a Division 3. I love the Division franchise. I want more. I'm not gonna get it unless they sell it to someone else. Um, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So, what are your thoughts about all of this? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. Check out our main channel, Wiki at Everything, where we cover video games in a more in-depth video essay, op-ed kind of way. Just did one on the new season of The Last of Us and how I think that the story of The Last of Us 2 actually fits the adaptation of a television show better than it fit in a video game. So, if that sounds interesting, please check that out. And then we have our sports channel, Wiki Good Sports, where we cover sports news, and our podcasting channel, Better Radio. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.